Hi everyone, Pam Gregory, astrologer. I wanted to speak to you today about something I feel is important, and it's really bringing together a lot of things I've said in my writings and videos over the last 10 years or so. But although this won't contain any astrology in this video, and it will be quite short, I actually think it's the most important video that I've filmed to date, and just feeling that very, very strongly. And I've really said all the way through with astrology that the future is not set. It's not a film set that we step onto. It's not rigid. It's invisible. It truly is. And I think constantly as astrologers, we're asked, well, what's going to happen? What do the stars say? What's going to happen? Well, astrology, as I've said, is only half the picture. It's the kit of modeling clay that is not yet formed. It's the sheet of music that is not yet played. It's potential, it's raw potential. Astrology is a language of probabilities, mathematical probability. And that one of the things I love about it is how that parallels the quantum principles of how reality is formed, because our reality, our future, is actually fluctuating in every moment, because we're changing our frequency individually and collectively in every moment. So tomorrow we can change today by our thinking and our emotion. It's constantly fluctuating. We're jumping from one timeline to another individually every few seconds, maybe even quicker than that. So we really have immense power as co-creators, therefore, if astrology is only half of the picture. We are the other half in how we play the music, in how we shape the modeling clay. And I'd really like to repeat an analogy that I used, gosh, it must be at least a year ago, maybe longer, in one of my videos, because I think people found it quite helpful. Imagine you're going to a theatre one night and there are two different plays on at that theatre. And one play is a very dark, scary, evil play, and it doesn't end well. But the other play is joyful and loving and uplifting and ends beautifully, has a very bright future. And these two plays are being advertised, if you like, by, in each case, wispy, ghostly figures just drifting across the stage. They're really barely visible. And it's only when we turn the spotlight on one of those plays that those ghostly figures start to take shape and form and color and speech and start to act out the play. So, and we only have one choice of which one we're going to focus the spotlight on. This is exactly how we create our reality in our everyday, day-to-day world, for you, for me, for everybody. Think of how an architect builds a house. He starts with an idea, which is invisible. He commits it to paper, which is 2D, and ultimately it becomes 3D bricks and mortar. And that's kind of a reasonable analogy too. I think the ghostly figures drifting across the stage is a better reality, because they start off as barely visible. They're just a wisp. But that's how we form our reality. And the spotlight is our attention and our focus. And what that does is feed, energize, activate, and strengthen any potential that you then make manifest. And so focus is food energetically. Focus is food. Focus is food. And by the way, did I say that focus is food? Because energetically, that's exactly what it is. And that's what we're doing in every moment. We're not aware of it because we kind of tumble through our days with a lot of information coming in at us. And so if we're just kind of scattergun, unconsciously create our reality day to day, it doesn't necessarily manifest to the optimum. But this is how we get what we think about. We get more of what we think about all day long, because the universe is just a mirror, really, echoing back to us where we're putting our focus. So I mentioned in a recent video just a month or so ago the idea of starve out the scary and love in the good. And again, it's using exactly this principle. Yes, it's a quantum principle, but it's an absolutely day-to-day reality for every single one of us. So check in consciously with your choices all through the day, maybe even stick post-it notes all over the house. Are you currently feeding the scary play, or are you feeding the beautiful, loving, uplifting play? Which narrative are you feeding day to day? Because your focus is your food, the food you're energizing that potential reality with. And we have to, if we are to create a better world, go beyond the current circumstances. For hundreds and thousands of years, we have lived in a world of poverty, disease, war, distress. It's like a hamster wheel. You know, copy and paste, next big scary thing. Copy and paste, next big scary thing, the hamster wheel. We've got to break the pattern. We've got to up our game and go beyond that if we are going to create a better world. And by the way, this is not to preclude in any way helping people on the ground practically, financially, lots of ways you can do this. There are people doing amazing things on the ground in war zones. You know, and that may be your role. I'm helping a lot of people practically in my local neighborhood, close friends who are in difficult circumstances. It doesn't, what I'm talking about here is your energetic focus, that we have to stay in love or in a high state of being, even if we're dealing with some tough stuff on the ground. That is our mastery. That is leadership. That is stepping into the best that we can be and really fulfilling our potential to change the probabilities moving forwards. Go beyond the noise. I personally, although I'm helping a lot of people locally, I just feel more and more distant from mainstream life, frankly, because I'm not plugged into the daily news, haven't been for a very long time now. And that gives me the freedom to really be very aware of my choices. And by the way, you don't have to go to a course, you don't have to pay money, you don't have to read a book, you just have to become aware of your choices. Stick post-it notes around the house. What are you thinking about? And so I truly believe that our leadership and mastery in our co-creation comes from the ability to hold a vision of a better world. And we may not know the detail of that at all. You may just think, well, I'd love to live in a loving community. Well, envisage that loving community day to day. You know, who's going to be there? Where is it? Can you start to fill in the picture with more color? Or is it that you want to see abundance in nature everywhere for everyone? Well, in order to do that, you've got to kind of milk what you see. I often talk about this in my videos, you know, stare into a flower and say, wow, that is just the most incredible color, shape, in a Fibonacci sequence very often. Or is it we've got very vibrant color in the UK at the moment because there's been so much rain this year. So, you know, wow, look at the green, look at the yellow of the gorse, look at the blossom. You know, I probably irritate people I'm walking with because I'm milking it, because the emotional potency is a key ingredient here. It isn't just the vision, it's the emotional strength, the emotional positivity and potency. That's what really energizes and pulls into manifestation the vision that you're holding. This becomes easier if you're in a group, either online or even better in person, because you can work on what are we going to create together. These groups are phenomenal in what they're creating. They truly are. And I hope in the next couple of weeks or so to have an example of that, a really amazing example of that for you. But they're popping up all over the world to hold a vision of a better world, to break the hamster wheel pattern, all aware of all the challenges and difficulties. Yes, we're helping people on the ground, but we're not recreating that. The last thing we want to do is to keep on energizing the hamster wheel. And we are really, with this Aquarian energy, moving into the power of the people. Potentially there is a surge of positive energy, a surge of energy for a better world. And it doesn't matter if we're in different countries, cultures, speak different languages. We're talking about energy here. We're talking about really people, the majority of people, wherever they are, want food, clean water, shelter, peace, and love in their lives. It's that simple. So even to keep it that simple, make that your vision, that everyone in the world has that, and why shouldn't they? And so in holding that vision, also to help you, because I think our minds become so scattered with social media. You know, we're hopping from one thing to another like a magpie all through our days. Many of us are on several social media platforms. It's very easy to get distracted, and off we go and down rabbit holes and lose time in doing that. So to counteract that, to help develop a one-pointed focus, because that's what's so important in how we go forwards, to develop a one-pointed focus in holding a vision for a period of time. Imagine that you're holding a note of music. Now, I don't know if there's a note for love, a particular pitch for love. I don't know, maybe there is. I don't think it really matters. But just imagine, or even do it out loud if you're on your own or outside in nature. Hold a note, a hum, a tone, a chant. Hold the note, and it helps you to be more conscious of holding the vision. And say to yourself, this is a note of love to bring in a better world. And just say to yourself, if we can, because the future is not set, it's very fluctuating and malleable in every moment. It truly is. We're just hopping about all the time. That if we can commit as a collective to changing our future timeline by 1% a day, just 1% on the compass needle. 1% isn't very much, but if you project out from that compass needle and you add on an extra percentage every day, another 1%, another 1%, by the end of the week, we've moved that compass needle 7%. Think of the difference in where we're headed in timeline versus where we were at the beginning of the week. There's an upping of the leverage, if you like. We're now aiming for a much higher timeline, and that isn't a lot to ask per day, just another 1%. So can you set yourself that minimal goal that you're going to improve your focus of love, joy, abundance, gratitude, appreciation each day? That will make a massive difference to the collective, and that's not hard to do. And so if I wasn't English, I'd be shouting this. I feel so incredibly passionate about this, about the power we have as co-creators. This is Aquarius energy at its best. This is ultimately Pluto starting to move into Aquarius next March. It will be fully into Aquarius by December 24. And the potential that has for us to truly step into our power as humanity and have a different future. It's immense. The photonic light is helping us massively. The new electromagnetic energy with new information coming in all the time, the peaks in the Schumann resonance, all of this upgrade in Gaia is helping us because we live on her. That's giving us a massive boost as well. But we have to play our part. So I'd really ask you that you go about your day, and as I mentioned in a recent video, see through the eyes of the heart, do everything through the heart, everything with love. Imagine that you are really egging up the emotion, the positive emotion of what you want to see more of in the world. So I'm feeling super emotional now. So in a very short period of time, we can look back and say, hashtag, look what love built. We can do this, guys. We really can. And I really commit that to you as a challenge for us all, wherever we are in the world, whatever our circumstances, let's hold hands together, digitally, physically, where we can, and make that our vision for right now, today. It's not tomorrow, it's not next week, it's not right now, we are going to start changing our world. God bless. I feel very strongly about this, as you might imagine. God bless. Bye for now. Hope it's helped.